Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's Tuesday morning, about 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I just came up here, to talk about the event of yesterday. What a beautiful sight, right? We got to see something that, people are going to try to explain. People are going to say what it is or what it isn't. But what we do know is that they call it an eclipse. They specifically a solar eclipse, something that can block out the sun and make people days turn into night, or so it would seem. But it was a beautiful thing. I'm glad to see that people gathered around and seeing the act itself. But here's what I got from it, right? I got one of the things that I got is that everything could be aligned and a blockage will still come in the midst of your life. What do I mean? Okay, we seen whatever that specimen was, whatever that object was that blocked the sun, whether it was a moon, another planet, or whatever it is, or whatever it was, you can still see the sun was still shining through it all, right? So how do we apply that to everyday life, right? Because there's things that's lined up for each and every one of us. Some of it is in our, some of it may not be. That's something that we all have to examine within ourselves. But the fact that everything that was aligned could not stop your light, it cannot stop your shine, it cannot stop you from being or going wherever you wanted to go, right? If you wanted to have joy in your life, we do understand that nothing can stop it. Even if it's for a momentary existence or a moment of time, there's nothing that can stop it. You know, like I said, whether it's joy, whether it's you becoming great, whether it's you giving out words of encouragement, whether it's you giving out love, whether it's you becoming the best you that you want to be, everything's already aligned for you. Everything is already within you. Everything, you have every tool to get to your yourself, your greatness that you want to be, the person that you want to be. But how do we get there, right? How do we get there even though we know that there was going to be something to eclipse or intertwine in our pathway? The first thing we got to do is we got to keep going. You got to keep going. If you stop, if you become stagnated, if you become worrisome, it may detour you, right? We cannot let detours deter our destination. We still have to go on and go forward. We still have to go on and go through, right? It may take us a little bit more time, just like the eclipse yesterday. They said it was only going to be for a moment. It lasted a little bit more than a moment, right? But what a moment it was. It showed that nothing could stop you from getting where you can go. It showed that your light can be so powerful that an eclipse don't mean nothing. We already understood that the sun is bigger than whatever that thing was. Whether, like I said, whether it was a moon, another planet, whatever it was, we already knew that the sun was going to be bigger than that type of thing. But the fact that it still occurred, it allowed you to see that your light can still be shined even in the darkest times. We just have to keep going. We have to keep persevering. We got to keep pursuing what it is that we want. Yes, it also allows us to understand that it's natural for things to come and try to stop us, and it's natural that things are coming to block us. But it is up to us to withstand. Sometimes we just got to stand still, because eventually whatever that blockage is, whatever that eclipse in your life is occurring, it will pass away from you as well. Whatever it is, whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, whether it's your health, whether it is, you know, your job, whatever it is, you can overcome it and still shine throughout the situation. You can still shine even in your darkest hour. You can shine even in your darkest moment. We get some hands, we get, like I tell you all the time, we get hands like we play in spades. We get some hands that we may not make a book. We got to get through that, right? We don't like the hand that's dealt to us, but we are who we are because of that hand and how we got through that hand. We have to understand that we are individuals. We are people that can overcome and outshine rather, anything that is in front of us. We can knock down walls. We can build walls, but we can knock them down too. We could jump over buildings, but we can also walk up the stairs to the top of the building. It's how we pursue it. It's how we go about the everyday living of life, right? And the crazy thing about the eclipse for me was, I've seen several news affiliations and they was talking about, oh my God, look at the birds. The birds are going crazy. The birds is doing this and that. Look at this. The mosquitoes is coming out. I was hearing all type of crazy things. I don't think they was going crazy, because if it was a natural experience, they was a little, not shook, but they was trying to get away from the situation. They was trying to find their peace during that time of chaos for them, because they even though they're the most in tune things to nature, they still have to overcome their situation. They still, like the bird flying at night. What birds do you know that fly at night? Right? Only owls and certain things. Good morning. Only owls and things like that will come out at night. Bats and things like that. They're the nocturnal creatures, right? So of course they're gonna be a little rattled. They can't see, but if they understood, as long as that light was shining, we gonna get through this, right? Because they understand there's nothing that's gonna perturb them except for somebody tainting their life, somebody putting them in harm's way. That's how we are as individuals and human beings as well. We can shine through it all, right? But it's up to you to understand how bright or how dim your light is. You are a light. Everybody that does what we do is a light. We're more than influencers. We are a light. We can be a light. Some of us are the good light, and some of us are the bad. It's up to us to understand what it is. But we have to persevere in spite of situations, in spite of the hateful people rather, that's coming to try to eclipse what we have going on in our everyday lives. We have to understand that, hey, we can get through that. This is only a moment. This is only a momentary thing if we continue to go forward. People don't understand that sometimes you just got to stand still and see the glory that is presented in front of you, or the glory that is about to come up out of you. You have to understand that is a natural thing, to stand still sometimes. We gotta stand still through the hurt and the pain, the trials and tribulation, just to understand that even at our lowest point, we are still strong. That's why the Bible says, when we are weak, then we are strong. It goes to show you that at your weakest point, you can still gain the strength to sit there and go through it. It doesn't mean that, it doesn't make you a chump. It doesn't make you a sucker. It doesn't make you a wimp. It just allows you to see how much strength is truly within you all. But as long as we keep listening to the ways of the world or following the ways of the world, we're always going to be put in that box. We're always going to be put into a situation to where you're going to fail. But you got to understand that your light will shine in spite of the eclipse. We have to understand that it's a momentary thing. The question is, how long are you going to be able to withstand it? Or how, better yet, Realist, good morning. How long are you going to stand there and allow it to occur? Sometimes we have to understand we can give it a little shove to push it to the side, but sometimes we got to just stand still and allow it to occur because it is building us anyway. It is giving us a testimony that we can overcome this little eclipse. This ain't gonna last always. We gotta just keep fighting. We gotta keep persevering. We gotta keep going through. Because if we don't go through, we're gonna fall for anything. There are people out here that wants to be an eclipse to your life. There are people that wants to steal a joy that they ain't even give you. You poured into people and people just took in your life. And now they want to block you from giving your joy to somebody else, your information to some, your love to somebody else, your greatness to somebody else. Why? Because we have a lot of selfish people and they can't even understand that whatever they trying to do, the alignment that is in your life, it's not going to be stopped. It's like a train. Y'all know when the tracks, you get to the track and they put the gates down. I don't care what you do. That train is not going to stop. Even if it slows down, the effect is still going to be the same. You're going to get hit. The fact of the matter is, how do you get through the situation? Do you avoid it or are you going to try your luck? Right? That's what the eclipse is trying to tell me. The eclipse is telling me that, hey, I'm going to be here for a while and you're going to have to withstand that. Yeah, you can withstand it, but you know that train is going to go past and those gates is going to lift up. So too was the eclipse. So too was it the fact that it was so dark in the middle of the day that it was just a moment though. We got to understand that there's going to be moments in time to where people are coming to block your light. They're going to block your gift, or they're going to try anyway. They're going to stand in the way from you becoming the great person that you want to be, the loving person that you want to be, the peaceful person that you want to be, whether it's people, whether it's trauma, whether it's a situation. Those are the eclipse in our everyday life, right? Some people want to hold on to it. That's why so many people filmed it. They want to see it forever. We just trying to get through this thing so we can go ahead and go forward to get to our destination. We just trying to show people, hey, there's a way to get through some things. There are people here that's blocking the words of encouragement because misery loves company. They're trying to eclipse your energy just so they can have company wherever they dwell in misery. It's a sucky way to look at it, but that's what I got from the eclipse. I already put the disclaimer in. This is my opinion, and it's not. I may not say nothing factual, but this is what I am observing. Just like we all observe the solar eclipse, this is how I'm observing the eclipse in the lives of certain people in everyday life. There are people really fighting their hardest to get to where they want to go. Good morning, Diane. There are people really trying to get to their destination, but there's something or someone or something trying to eclipse you from getting to that light to where you need to go. It's trying to block the light that you need to have to go forward. You know what I mean? Because just like in everyday life, if you're not familiar with a surrounding, you're going to need the light to show you where you need to go. And a lot of us need that light, especially when we do these contents on this platform, because there's so many people that's so selfish with themselves. They want you to hang around them because misery loves company. But you trying to show people, hey, there's another way. There's another light that can come through and get us through the situation. It's not about making people fishers of men. It's about making people aware that there's another way. You don't have to follow everything that's being said. You don't have to follow everything that real is may put down. You may not want to follow anything that anti puts down. It's the fact that they're trying to give you another avenue to show you that we can get around the eclipse in your life is what the point they're trying to make for each and everybody that comes in contact with them. That's what I believe. That's what I hope for people that comes to this channel. that there's another way. You know, we're not going to be here to fight about this, that, or the third. We are not, we are not the Christ, right? We are not the way, the truth, or the light. We can be a light, but we're not the light. We're trying to get you to the light, the light of life. We're trying to get you to that point to where you can say, you know what? I don't care what darkness is in front of me. There's something behind it that's trying to stop it from intertwining with me. And those are the things we have to do to go forward. We have to truly believe that, hey, this is just a momentary setback. It was dark. It was dark in the middle of the afternoon, a momentary setback. But look how fast everything clicked on. All those automated lights that come on once the sun is down. People might have thought it was going to rain. No, it was just something that was a momentary expression of nature saying, hey, I'm still here. And that's what trouble is going to be the same way in our lives. Hey, I'm still here. I'm gonna eclipse your light. I'm gonna make sure somebody don't understand, somebody don't get to see it at that moment. But stand still and let your glory shine. Because that's what that sun did. That sun ain't never moved. Everything got to go around your light. That's the beauty of the sun. Everything, life is around the sun. Life is around the fact that, hey, we can't survive without this type of light. We need that beacon of light, right? If you look at Superman, he got to go up into the sky to absorb the yellow sun. The sun is the sun of life, right? I'm not, and this is not even a religious aspect or anything. I'm not trying to get you to do nothing religious. I'm just telling you what the eclipse meant for me. There may be a spiritual aspect in my speaking. There may be a spiritual aspect in my tone. But the fact of the matter is, we need the sun to go on in life. We need that light to go forward in life. What we do with this light that is given to us, how we illuminate the light that is given to us, how we absorb the light that is given to us is up to each and every one of us. It don't matter who's in your way. You still want to have to be an illumination to somebody in this world. 9 times out of 10 is if you have a family and your children. If you have a wife or a husband, it's going to be them. If it's a boyfriend or girlfriend, it's going to be them. But that's what your light going to do, is going to draw you to people, right? I was telling my 33 brother the other day, sometimes we're going to attract those unhealed or those broken people, right? Because we're trying to do things in a positive aspect for them to understand that you can heal yourself. That's what the sun is. The sun is a healer. The sun is a light of life. You can heal yourself. Don't let nothing eclipse your healing. Don't let nothing eclipse your expectations of where you want to go. Don't let nothing eclipse your being, period. We all have what we have because it was given to us. We all have this light. Whether we want to understand what that light is or not is another story. But the eclipse was telling you that, hey, there's something that's going to try and block it. But you have to stand tall. It doesn't matter if you're tall in real life or short in real life. The fact of the matter is, your light it outshines anything. It can outshine anything as long as you continue to illuminate it. Illuminate your goals, illuminate your destinations, illuminate your dreams. Follow that. Follow the light. That's why people always say, well, when they supposedly are dying, I followed the light. But guess what we have to do to be reborn? We have to come into the light. We have to understand what this thing actually means in everyday life. When you come out of the womb, but first, you may not even see it because you're an infant, but the first thing you see is light. The first thing that you come out of that dark tube, that dark womb, you're coming in to light. Light is important. Your light is important. The right light is important, because there is some light that it's real, but it ain't meant for you. I'm not saying that dark light is artificial. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is There are some dark lights that will attract you if you're not on your path. You will follow that thing into the wrong direction. It'll follow you will be building on sinking land, sinking sand, quicksand. If you don't understand that light is not for you. Your light is your light, right? We have to have balance. I understand that part. That's what the eclipse shows us too, that there has to be a balance. Everything has to be aligned. In order for this perfected eclipse to occur, you're going to have to go through some things. If you are in delusion land and think that everything's going to come to you for nothing, there's not going to be no trials or tribulations, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Your dream is going to quickly turn into a nightmare. Your light is going to be blown out by the breath of reality. Your candle's going to be blown out. That's like that, rather, right? Because at the end of the day, you let your light shine so you can be seen. That's how we see you. We've never met each other on this platform. Well, some of us haven't met each other on this platform, but it was something that drew you to each and every one of the people that you subscribe to. It's something that drew you to collaborate with certain people on this platform, right? For me, I like the energy. The energy is your light, right? The peace is your light. The love is your light. You got to understand what the light is in your life, but you also have to understand there's something that's coming to eclipse it. There's something that's coming to block that privy of the light that you have. And if you don't understand that, close your eyes and really think about what you've been through in your life. Close your eyes and examine what has really happened in your life from yesterday and 5 years ago to where you are today. How does it link up? How does it match? Are you where you want to be? Is your light shining? Or is the eclipse still occurring in your life? That's why I said, sometimes we gotta do a lot of work within ourselves. We gotta move mountains, but we have to know we can move that mountain. That's what the Bible means by faith. The size of a mustard seed can move the mountain. Your faith in yourself is what your faith, your light is what allows you to remove that dark energy that's in your life. It could put it in bondage. It may not lead the way you want it to lead, but you did everything you can to move it. You will get the results that you want. I promise you that. We got to stop looking at the individualism of a thing and look at it at its totality, or as Word would say, its duality. You got to understand that, hey, there's a good reason and a bad reason. There's a reason for all of these things that is happening. Something is trying to stop you from having joy. Something is trying to stop you from having peace. Something doesn't want you to have whatever it is that you want. And it's, for the most part, is not you, the individual. It's something within you that's pulling you back. They can call it the negative energy, the devil, whatever you want to call it. But something is holding you back. That's a fact. Something that's holding you back from becoming who you want to be, right? I'll give y'all an example, right? And I'm going to use Anti, right? Because Anti, she's not a people person, but she's coming out of her shell because now she's becoming familiar with the surroundings that she is around, and now her light is being shined. And now she feels a newness within her that she hasn't felt before because of the energy, the light that is becoming illuminated in her life. She's not worried about making the mistake. She's not worried about, I'm a fall. She understands that she gonna fall. She gonna get back up and brush that dirt off and keep it moving. She understands now what she truly has is a light. What is inside her is a light, and it can help somebody. It can bring somebody a joy, a laughter that they didn't have before, because she understands that same thing that blocked her light may be blocking somebody else's. Realist is the same way. He don't really speak too much, but when he speaks, he's allowing you to understand, yo, I have the light within me, but I just don't want to give it to anybody for it to waste. And I understand that as well. I get that part because sometimes it takes a lot to come on this thing, especially when you want to be a helper. You not a fisher of men, but a helper. You we are helpers on this thing, right? We are doing this for the most part. I'm doing this to allow somebody to understand that there's another way besides the way that we're going and it's not working our way. Examining ourselves is a way to get healing. Examining ourselves allows us to see the rights and wrongs that we are making. It's not the point of finger at yourself. We just got to do better. We don't gotta shame ourselves. We just got to do better. And that's the thing. We so worried about the fixations of the world that the world don't got a heaven or hell to put us in. But it can block your light. It can eclipse your life because they don't want you to be who you are in life. They don't want you to be who you're supposed to be. Because this is the funny part. And I'm gonna speak this and this is gonna be funny. Antisocial is going to change her name soon because she's no longer going to be antisocial. She's going to be social and an abundance of social. She's not going to be afraid to say, you know what? I could come out of my shell and I can be the me that I'm supposed to be. So she may be changing her name because her light is going to show her that you're no longer antisocial. But she may be fighting her own eclipse right now. I'm just saying that's not a right or wrong thing to say. I'm just saying there's an eclipse because I promise you, when her light shines so much, I promise you, she has her own moniker. She understands that if baby's gonna be famous, she can no longer be antisocial anymore. You understand what I'm saying? That's just the way it's gonna be. She's great, and if y'all don't, well, whoever hears this on a replay, y'all go and subscribe to her and see how much she has changed from time to time. What if your past come back to hunt you? Diane, if your past come back to hunt you, that's the eclipse that I'm talking about. It's going to come and get in your way. It's going to come and to block your light. It doesn't want you to illuminate. It doesn't want you to shine. It doesn't want you to have peace. And that's the thing that I'm saying. We got to come to the understanding that we have to be around people, like-minded people, people that's going to encourage you to come through the storm, come through the eclipse, and still know that your light is going to shine even in your darkest hour. That's how we're finding each other as I'm sitting here talking to you right now, because there's an eclipse on our life, but we know our words give life and our words can pick up life. So what you're going through, Diane, is the fact that something is resonating with you just by you asking that question. Something I'm saying is resonating with you, right? So because of that, you are being drawn to your light, right? Like I just said, a rebirth. Even in a rebirth, you still have to come out of the darkness into the light. Whatever is illuminated in front of you, hopefully it's something positive. The rebirth wants you to be a new person, a new creature. That's what the Bible would say. Cheeky, good morning. And if you want to become that new person, you will always have to come into that light. I know that they got death, light with death, but I'm talking about the light, the light of life. Darkness is, for most human beings, darkness is death. I'm not going into no light to go to death. That's only for your spiritual aspect. You ain't going to understand that. You ain't going to understand that reality because we live in the flesh 9 times out of 10, unless you are intertwined with your mind, body, and soul. Then you will understand what that means. But I'm talking to the fleshly people right now. I'm trying to tell y'all that we are so fleshly that at the end of the day, we don't understand that the light gives life. We're so worried about doom and gloom. We're so worried about what another person thinks. We're so worried about if somebody's trying to take us down. Let them have that. They trying to eclipse your light. They trying to show you and tell you that, yo, I'm going to be here for the duration, but your light is still going to shine, right? Even the moon is supposed to represent night, but it still shines. There's still light in the dark times. And guess what's giving that moon light? The sun. Your reflection, the reflection of the sun. Your light can give light to a dark situation. That's why sometimes I say we can make the best out of a bad situation. That's why I said earlier, if you got a hand that you can't play spades with, you play it out, because there will be a new hand dealt to you. And that hand could be the shiniest hand that you can get. You might end the game. You might destroy the darkness right then and there. Boston time, 10 for 2. However you play your cards, however you play your spade game, it could shut the game down right there. And it could be a flawless victory, because you have taken out that darkness within you. You have allowed that eclipse to be a fading instant in your life. Good morning, Lisa. Right? Because at the end of the day, something is trying to stop you from shining. Something is trying to stop you from illuminating your abilities. And that's what the eclipse was. It's a natural being. That's another thing we have to understand. It's a natural substance. That means something is always going to come and try to stop your light from shining. It's a natural occurrence. You cannot live in this world and expect everything to be roses and peaches and cream and all of it. No, that's not reality. That's not a realness, right? You know, as Lisa pops in, she understands everything that I'm saying. And I'll use her as an example as well. She does trading, right? Everything could be good, but she know that eclipse will come and just shut that down real quick. Like, wait a minute, it's time to get rid of this, because this may not make things that we need to make, because something's going to block it from increasing in value. Just like there's something that's stopping us from increasing our value in life. And it's more than likely an eclipse. It's something that's stopping your light from shining. It's something that's stopping you from becoming the great you that you need to be. You know, it's something that's showing you that, hey, wait a minute, I could stop this light. I could stop you from shining. But that little object that was trying to eclipse the entire sun, if it did, it was only, like I said, for a momentary experience. That's why the thing don't happen all the time. That's why everybody gathered together to see the thing. You got to understand, there's nothing that can stop you from being you for the long haul. It will only be a momentary experience. And you got to understand that in your everyday life. I don't care who it is. You know, it doesn't even matter, because at the end of the day, you are a light. You are a beacon of light. You can stand up on a hill and be the light, like, yo, reality is here. Comfort is here. Joy is here. A newness is here. Peace is here. It's up to you to overcome the eclipse. Stand still and allow that thing to move on. It's only going to be here for a while. You know? And that's the thing. That's what we have to understand. Queen Motivation, good morning. The fact is that there is always going to be something, someone, some entity that is trying to eclipse your well-being. It's someone that's trying to eclipse your greatness, the improvement of self, the reality of you trying to become something that you are destined to be. There will always be a stumbling block. As long as you aren't the stumbling block, you should be able to get to where you need to go in this life. If you want to be a great father, there's nothing stopping you from that. Even if you have a quote unquote, a horrible relationship with the mother of your child. Ladies, if you got a man that's not in the life of your child, it doesn't mean that your child is not going to become great. It's just a stumbling block. We can overcome the stumbling blocks. We can overcome the eclipse that is occurring in that relationship. Yes, trials and tribulations. You could overcome trials and tribulations. You cannot have a testimony unless you have a test. That's what the eclipse is. It's a test to show how much we need that light in order to go forward. Like I said, they said the birds were going crazy. No, the birds was holding on. It was circling. It was just flying until that eclipse moved, and then it can go back to its natural self. We are fighting our natural self because our natural self is a stumbling block, because we always going to get in our way. The flesh is always going to get in our way. But the light that you are that is already illuminated in you, or is illuminating, is where we need to go. We got to understand that it is within each and every one of us. That's why I always say you're a storehouse, because it's within you. We already have the tools to get to where we need to go. Only the things on the outside is going to affect us. Urban, good morning. It's going to affect us from getting to our goals and our destination. It'll activate the things in you, that balance that's within us, that to hold us back. But it's always going to work from the outside in. When the illumination starts from the inside out, that's the way that life goes. That's the balance that happens in our lives. Illumination is inside out. The stumbling block is from outside in. It affects outside and comes in. The illumination comes inside and out. Right? And that's what we have to stand. We have to understand that stuff. We have to understand the give and takes of life. We got to understand that the eclipse will happen every once in a blue moon. That's so funny. I'm sitting here looking at my avatar, and I just really noticed that it was an eclipse in itself on my profile picture. I just realized it was an eclipse, and I didn't even realize that until I just spoke about it. But that's the fact of the matter is sometimes the thing could be right in front of you and we don't see it because we're not enlightened enough to understand what's in front of us. That was a message in itself. That was crazy. But that happens from time to time. We got to understand that there's going to be people in front of us that's going to try to steal the joy. There's going to be people in front of us that's going to try to steal your peace. There's going to be people in front of us that's going to try to drain every ounce of energy that is inside of us, and they're right in front of us. You know, some people say that the enemy will use family and friends that are close to you in order for that to occur. So your eclipse may be occurring on a more frequent balance because we don't understand how powerful our light really is. And that's the thing that we have to understand. You know, like Queen Motivation. Queen Motivation, she just came back from a 30-day a live fast, a fast that she had to go on. She discovered some things, and now she has a light about her that she may not see, but we all see it. She has an energy that has been shown because the illumination of staying away from a substance from her eclipse, it has allowed her to say, you know what, that light within her is illuminating at a higher level. That's why I tell people, you gotta fast. If you fast, you can sit back and understand what is eclipsing your light. I know people are going to be tired of me saying that, you know, about a fast, but I'm not always talking about a food fast. You can just fast away from people. Sometimes if you stay away from a thing, you can be cured from it. Right? If you allow your pancreas to get well enough, if you're a diabetic, if you stay away from the things that have to function through the pancreas, you can allow your pancreas to heal. That's the light. Right? If you stay away from them triggers that want you to smoke a cigarette, that thought will be gone. That's the light. It's always a light that allows you to see things in a dark passage. But this eclipse is just a momentary thing. We have to understand it could be a momentary thing, but sometimes we hold on to an eclipse longer than we're supposed to hold on to it. Not literally, but figuratively. Don't do that, y'all. Not you guys in the chat, but those in the background. Right? You got to understand, we hold on to those triggers of the past, those traumas of the past, the pains of the past. That's the eclipse that's stopping you from shining. That's the eclipse that's stopping you from going forward to where you want to be, whether it's peace, love, or any entity that is the opposite of where you want to be. We got to let that eclipse go. That is holding you in bondage. The sun can't be held in bondage. Everything revolves around that sun, that light. So too, we have to make that a part of our life. Whatever we're gonna get into, it has to involve what our light is. And for the most part, like I said, I hope it's the illuminating light that we need to go forward and to help somebody and to prosper. Because there is some selfish light. That's another story for another day. And I don't even want to touch that, because that is not what I want for anybody. So we got to, like I said, we just have to understand what this thing is. We got to understand what the eclipse is. Stop worrying about if the natural beings are being affected by it, because the natural beings understand this is just a momentary thing. Oh, they flying in circles, and yeah, they're flying in circles because they're waiting that light that's still going to come out. We as human beings, we get so afraid. That's why they're more in tune with nature than us, because we're in tune with unnatural things. We have to be tuned up to be that illumination. We have to be tuned up to be that beacon of light. It takes work to become a light. It takes work to become one with nature, or one with whatever job or goal that you're trying to get to. If you want prosperity, it's going to take some work. If you want love, it's going to take some work. If you want peace, it's going to take some work. You can't just throw your hands up and say, I quit as soon as an eclipse comes into your life. That's the dark light. I don't want that for nobody. I don't want it for myself. I wouldn't want it for my kids. I wouldn't want it for my family. And I know nobody here wants that for theirs. So sometimes we have to understand we are the examples. Sometimes we got to understand that this eclipse is the occasion to overcome and rise up above it. But as long as we living in doubt, and as long as we living in fear, and as long as we living in worryation, the eclipse is going to stay there longer than it needs to be. But naturally, it's going to be a very momentary thing. And that's how we got to look at it for ourselves. Whatever is hindering us, it will be a hindrance no more, as long as we continue to do the things that we need to do. If you do your best, God will do the rest. I believe that. I don't believe it. I know it. And I'm just talking about everyday life. I'm not talking about riches or nothing like that, because you could be the richest person in the world. You can shine that money all day long, but be miserable doing it. And that person that don't have 3/4, 90% of that rich person thing can still be rich with peace. And that light will shine. What you seek is what you'll find. So whatever door that you're knocking at, you better understand what you're getting yourself into. But know this, the eclipse in your life can be overcame. It will be a momentary thing if you continue to work at it. It may not be 2 minutes, 3 minutes a day, a month, a year, but it can be removed from your life. We got to understand that we are a light. We have to understand that. We are a fireball. We got to understand that we can inspire. Like I said, we're more than content creators. We're influencers. But what are we influencing people to? To stay in their eclipse, or to become the light that they are supposed to be? That's something that we all got to look at ourselves and say, what are we doing this for? I'm not doing this for the grandeur of making this a business. I'm doing this because in the beginning, there were so many people that was asking for help. Now you can't say there's nobody here to show you what your light is really supposed to be about. You can't say that no more. It's just like when people talk about scriptures, right? Hey, I never heard the scriptures before. I never heard about that part of the Bible. You can't say that once you hear it. Now you can't say you don't understand how much of a light that you can really be, what your illumination can be, because it's been spoken to you. You can't go around here saying it's dark when you know you are the light. And even if the people don't accept your light, I tell y'all all the time, it only takes one to see your light. You only got to get it right one time. And that one time, that person's going to pass it on. and that person is going to pass it on. That's why we love Lisa J, right? Lisa J is she takes her time, she takes her efforts, her and Prez. They go on their platform. They tell y'all, listen, this may be a scary thing, but there is a beacon of light in this trading and buying of stocks. That's why she is a light. And that's why some of us got to give people their flowers while they can see it in the light. Don't wait for somebody to die and say, oh, that person was great. Let them know while they're in their light. Help them get their light. Help them illuminate their light. We're not selfish people, right? So if we're not being selfish, we gotta allow people to get the eclipse out of there. We gotta help them remove it. For some people, it may be a Goliath for them. It may be a giant. It may be a small thing. It may be a small thing to some, but for a lot of people, it's a giant. If we all are on the same wavelength, if we are all under the same illumination, we should be able to see, yo, that person needs help. Let's help that person, you know? And of course, we're going to get some people that will try to steal your light. They will try to dim your light quick, fast, in a hurry. That is an eclipse. That's why it is an eclipse. It's a momentary thing. But everybody else is going to see your light. Continue to be who you're going to be. Go forward with your illumination. Go forward with your works. Go forward with your effort. Your light will shine and it will be seen, and you will gain the reward of whatever it is that you're doing it for. If you're doing it just for somebody to be helped, then you'll get your reward. If you're doing this to be a selfish individual, you may get the wrong result, but you'll get a result. You understand? So that's the things that we have to understand. The illumination of light can be eclipsed, but we have to understand it's going to be a momentary thing. And please don't put your hand in it. Don't taint it to where it could stay longer. That's the thing. That's what made the eclipse even more beautiful. There was nothing holding it there. Like, it moved on its own. Your light will overcome the darkness if you stand still. Sometimes you got to stand still on your foundation. Don't move off your foundation. If you're doing this for the right reason, it may crack. Your foundation may crack, right? Because of wear and tear. But the fact is that crack will only be just that, a crack, and not an earthquake that just occurred in real life. Everybody was so scared. Oh my God, the earthquake, and now the eclipse, and natural things are going to happen. We can withstand some natural things. The only natural thing that we can't overcome, and I'm sad to say this, is death. But there are dead people walking with that dead light anyway. So guys, it's up to you guys to understand that you are that beacon of light. You are the sun in somebody else's life. It is up to you to understand you can illuminate a pathway for somebody to come out of their darkness. You have to understand all of those things. If you don't understand it, we got some more work to do. It's easy for us to say it's not my place, it's not my business, it's not this or that. If you are who you are, you can just walk every day and you can inspire somebody. You minding your business, but your light could illuminate them. I can be just like that. I could be confident with myself. I can understand that, hey, I may not be the most handsomest of a guy, but somebody's going to love me. I may not be the most prettiest of a young lady or a woman, but somebody's going to love me because of my light, because of who I am. They may illuminate me even more because they're adding to me and not draining me. They're not absorbing my substance. But your light is what attracts you to certain things. Just like what is them creatures that draws to the fire? Is it a mosquito? No, it's one of them insects that always attract to the light. It's something that attracts to them, and it leads them to their own death. That's the light we need to stay away from. We need to understand the illuminated light is the right light, the bright light, not the live light, not the deaf light, the live one. right? Like I told y'all, there's people saying they walked into the light and their body physically died. They went to the spiritual realm. If you trying to live to see tomorrow, you need the physical light, but you must blend it with the spiritual light in order to see exactly where you're going. You understand? That's just the way it is. That's what the eclipse showed me. That there's something that's going to come and try to stop you from being the light. Is going to stop you from overcoming your obstacles. It's going to stop you from overcoming your difficulties. It's gonna try to keep you at your weakest state. But your weakest state is only a momentary thing. Like I said, when you are weak, then you could become strong. If you know your weakness, you're going to build on it to where it's no longer your weakness. The eclipse is not going to matter and your light is going to shine. Now your question is, what eclipse is holding you back from your illumination? So with that being said, everybody, I want to thank everybody who came through. I want to leave it there because I want you guys to really, Commander, good morning. I want you guys to really think about what the eclipse can be in your life for you to allow it to pass it so you can become that beacon of light and to overcome whatever it is that's holding you back from obtaining or illuminating your light. Right? So with that being said, like I said, I thank you all for taking the time on the day after the natural eclipse for me to examine or think about our personal eclipse in our everyday life. So with that being said, everybody, I'm out. Thank you guys for coming. I'm gone.